Yo, what up guys, this is your boy Legendary here, and today people, we're going to be doing a new deck profile. We're going to be doing Zark's Good deck, which is basically just using his Pendulum Magicians. You guys saw in the last one where I built Zark's deck, you know, when he turned evil. We never really got to see Zark's deck when he was good. All we got to see him use was the 4 dragons and Stargazer Magician and Time Gazer Magician and Astrograph. So from that I pretty much determined that he pretty much had a Pendulum Magician deck that focused on summoning the 4 heavenly dragons, you know, and whatnot. But yeah, so that's pretty much it right there. So it's going to be a pure Pendulum Magician deck mostly. I made a couple texts in there that I'll explain as I go along, and that's pretty much it. But before I get started on the deck profile, I did leave 2 cards out which you guys might not like, but you guys can add it if you do want. I took these 2 cards out, Astrograph Sorcerer and Chronograph Sorcerer. The reason why is because their effects, specifically their monster effects, are specifically created to summon Zark the Dragon, which is, you know, the evil dragon, Supreme King Dragon Zark or whatever. So I didn't add them because since this is the good version of him before that dragon even existed, I felt like these 2 cards weren't necessary. And even the monster effect of this card, because this was originally just a regular monster effect card in the show, even that effect also summoned the dragon, because that card was created specifically to summon the dragon. Also, this isn't even a Pendulum Magician; it's a sorcerer monster, not a. It doesn't have magician in the name, so it won't work with some of the spell trap cards in there. So that's why I took these out. But if you want to add them in, if you feel they're just too iconic, you can add it in. But I didn't add the fusion, so I didn't add these 2 cards because they're made to summon the fusion. But that's pretty much it. Anyway, let's just get started with the deck profile. I think I'm going to start with the extra deck first this time. So for the extra deck, we got Time Star Magician, which came from the Pendulum Evolution structure deck. Obviously it's a Pendulum well, it's not a Pendulum monster, but it's a Magician monster. You use 2 Pendulum Magicians to summon it, so it's his card. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the Xyz monsters first. So we got Dark Rebellion, Xyz Dragon. We have Dark Requiem, Xyz Dragon. I'll get into the deck and explain some of the cards that I teched in there to summon some of these other cards you're going to see in the extra deck. But yeah, so I added all the Heavenly Dragons plus their evolutions as well, you know, just so you could go all out and crazy. Those were all his ace monsters. All of them are his aces. Odd Eyes might have been his ace, but I'm not sure. But whatever, they're all his ace monsters. So then we got Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. We got Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord. This card hasn't come out yet. This is in the OCG. This is kind of the new form of it. It basically makes it so you could Xyz summon over this using Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, you guys could read the effect on your own. I'll put it on the screen so you guys could read it. It will also be in the description down below if you want to print this card out along with some of the other cards that haven't come out in the TCG yet. So I'll put that in the description. And then finally we got Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. I didn't want to add this card because I felt like Odd Eyes Raging Dragon is a little bit more representative of the anger and, you know, the evil side of him. So I didn't want to add it, but I added it because I feel like people would complain if I didn't add it. But whatever, Odd Eyes Raging Dragon, really good card, very aggressive. But I probably wouldn't add it in theme because of the simple fact that he is a raging, you know, raging dragon. It's more about anger and bloodlust and whatnot. So, but it is what it is. If you want to add it, you can add it. And now for the Synchro monsters, we have Clearwing Synchro Dragon. We have Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. We have Odd Eyes Winged Dragon, and then we have Enlightenment Paladin and Nirvana High Paladin. I added these cards because these are also Zark's cards. If you watch the duel with Yuya and Jack in the tournament, in the finals, when Yuya had Tuning Magician, I haven't watched the duel in a while, but I do remember that specifically the pendant gave Yuya the power to summon this card and perform this synchro. Yuya didn't own this card, so this card came from Zark. Like, you even saw the image of Enlightenment Paladin showing up in his head, showing him how to synchro summon this card. And then obviously Nirvana is the evolution of that as well. So these cards are actually Zark's cards, and he is the master of Xyz, Synchro, Fusion, and Pendulum, and just everything. He's just the master of all the summoning mechanics, so it makes sense that these cards would be in there because they are his. And you do use specific, it does have an effect where you need to use Magician Pendulums as well, so it is Zark's card, trust me. At least I think so. And then finally for the fusions, we have Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. We have Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon. Don't worry, I have something in the deck to summon this card because you do need a Predaplant, and I'll get into that later. Then we got Odd Eyes Venom Dragon, and I only added Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon because, like I said last time, it's a Pendulum Magician deck. There's only spellcasters in here. There's no Beast to summon Beast Eyes, and there's no Warriors to summon Brave Eyes, but you guys could take it in if you want to use Brave Eyes and Beast Eyes. But yeah, so that's it. That's the extra deck. I'm gonna get into the main deck now. All right, so for the main deck, we have Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Obviously, we have Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, which is another Odd Eyes support card that came out. We added it as extra support for Yuya because we felt like it fit in theme. So we added it. It has the pendulum background and everything, and it was more in theme with Yuya. But this is Zark anyway. But yeah, he pretty much. I just added all the Odd Eye stuff into this deck because pretty much not all the Odd Eye stuff, but I'll get into it once we get further into it because that's near the end of the monsters. But yeah, we got Time Gazer and Stargazer Magician. We have Creation and Destruction Magician. We have these original 4. Yes, these cards could be used to summon Zark, but technically speaking, you don't have to use them to summon Zark. They are their own individual cards, so these cards are great. So you can add that in there because they are the pendulum versions of the 4 Heavenly Dragons anyway, so it doesn't matter. I find it weird that they're called Heavenly Dragons because they ended up turning evil and wanting to fuse. I don't know. It's a very bizarre story. Anyway, next up, we have Entermate Heavenly Magician or Performer Pal. I forgot what it's called in the dub again. Anyway, you guys know what it is. But I only added this card once again because it's Zark on the picture. But I didn't add any other Entermates into the deck because I didn't feel it was necessary. I wanted to use only Pendulum Magicians. Then we got Timebreaker Magician. Then we got Harmonizing Magician. Really good card. Pendulum Tuner right there. We got Wisdom Eye and Dharma Eye Magician right there. And we got Dragon Caller Magician. And then finally, for the monster effects, we have Odd Eyes Dragon over here, we have Odd Eyes Saber Dragon, we have Odd Eyes Wizard Dragon, we have Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon, and we have Odd Eyes Lancer Dragon, and those are all the Odd Eyes forms right there. I had to take out all the Supreme King Zark cards in there, and I was trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do to replace those cards? Well, Odd Eyes is one of Zark's main ace monsters, so it only makes sense he would have all of Odd Eyes' evolutions as well. So I added them all in there because, you know, why not? They're all his cards anyway. They're all his evolutions, I would assume. So I added those in there. Really good. So it's an Odd Eyes Magician Pendulum deck, or an Odd Eyes Magician deck, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so pretty cool. Those cards are right there. Alright, and the final 2 monsters we got are Tuning Magician and Predaplant Klamisundu. Yeah, anyway, whatever. But yeah, so I added these 2 cards. The reason why is because you need to be able to summon in the extra deck. This is why I showed the extra deck first, so I could just explain it. The reason why is because of this card right here, Odd Eyes Winged Dragon. So Odd Eyes Winged Dragon requires 1 Dark Tuner, which this is a Dark Tuner, and it requires 1 Clear Wing monster. So one of my subscribers, one of my fans pointed out, I forgot which subscriber, so I'm sorry about that. I know you'll remind me, but you reminded me that you couldn't even go into this in the last deck profile because there's no level 1 tuner to go into it. So that's why I had to add Tuning Magician in there, because you need to tune this along with Clear Wings. Is it Clear Wing or Crystal Wing? Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. I always get those 2 mixed up. But yeah, so you need to synchro summon with it to summon this card. And also it makes it easier to summon Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon as well, because that's also a level 8. So it's very difficult. Yuya doesn't have a lot of level manipulation, so I kind of had no choice but to add this card in there. And also its effect in the TCG does work with Magician Pendulum, so it does work in theme with it still. So you definitely have to add it in order to summon those 2 synchro monsters right there. And they can also help you summon Enlightenment Paladin and Nirvana High Paladin as well. So it's a very good, useful card to summon some of those other synchros. And then this card is in here because I realized that in order to summon Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon, you need 1 Predaplant monster and 1 Dark monster whose original level is 8 or higher. So basically Starving Venom plus 1 Predaplant. But obviously I didn't want to use any of the U-Boys, Performer Pal, you know, Phantom Knights and all that. So I didn't want to use that because it's a Pendulum Magician deck. So I had to add 1 in there, and I read through all of them and I decided to pick this one. This one seemed like the best option because this one doesn't require you to have another Predaplant to combo with. It's just 1 card. Also, this card has an effect that when he's on the field during your main phase, you can fusion summon this card along with any other dark monster you control to summon a dark fusion monster from your extra deck. So it's an inherent poly right there. So you just summon it, and if you have Starving Venom on the field, you fuse those two to summon Greedy Venom, and that's it. So that's why I added this card. I forgot what was the name of the other Predator Planet, Orthoscopia, the one that searches a poly or a fusion card. I thought of adding that one, but it says you can only add poly or a fusion card if it's special summoned by the effect of a Predaplant. So that means I would have to add at least 2 Predaplant monsters. Well, the one that searches it, the one that special summons it out, and then that one. So, but I only wanted to add 1. So luckily I found this one, and this one has the perfect effect to just, it's a 1 card, just summon it with Starving Venom and fuse it right away, and that's it. So that's why that's there. And that'll help you go into your Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and that's it. But yeah, that's the monster lineup. Next, for the spell cards, we have a Star Pendulum Graph. I kept this in there because its effect has nothing to do with Zark or Supreme King. It's just called, it does have the picture of Astrograph on it, but it doesn't matter. It specifically works with spellcaster type monsters and Magician Pendulum monsters, so its effect still applies with the rest of the deck. Then we got Amazing Pendulum, we got Duelist Alliance, we have Pendulum Storm, we have Soul Pendulum, we have Pendulum Card Break. All the anime cards all the cards you're going to need from this deck profile will be in the description below, so you could download it and print it out there. So Pendulum Card Break, great for draw cards. Then we got Spiral Flare Strike, because that's Odd Eyes' signature attack spell, and then it searches out Odd Eyes as well, and there's plenty of Odd Eyes in the deck. Then we have Odd Eyes Exile, an anime card, also in the description. Just allows you to normal summon 1 Odd Eyes monster without tributing, which is great because you have a lot of them. You're going to end up bricking a lot, probably. So this will help you at least summon 1 straight out without any tributing at all. So it's great. Then we got Monster Reborn. And then finally we have a Polymerization right here to help you go into your fusions. And the final spell card actually is going to be the Phantom Knights Rank Up Magic Launch. I didn't want to add this card, but since Zark technically never dueled, he doesn't have any rank ups to go into Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon, so I had no choice but to add this card. Otherwise, there would be no way to summon Requiem. I mean, you might be able to. Maybe there's some Pendulum Magicians that are level 5, and you could somehow use 3 for it. But so this is the only one I added, so you could go into it. But that's pretty much it. That's the only condition that I made. And finally, for the trap cards, we have Time Pendulum Graph. Once again, for the same reason, it still supports the Pendulum Magicians and Magicians in general. We got Pendulum Switch, we got Pendulum Dimension, we have Divided Wall, we have Twin Break Shield, and we have Breakaway. So yeah. And yeah, guys, that's the gist of it all. That's the main deck. I'll quickly get into the side deck. It won't be a lot. I'm not going to explain any effects because there's no point. You guys could just read the cards or print them out yourself in the description. So we have Acrobatic Magician, so you could add that in there. I also added Super Polymerization just in case if you want to try that out, because that's an iconic fusion card. He's the master of fusion, synchro, and Xyz and everything. So I was like, hey, maybe if you guys want to have fun, use Super Poly, because Yuri is one of his counterparts. So you would imagine he would probably have Super Poly too, because that's just it's a part of him. But I'm not sure. I was gonna add it in the main deck, but then I didn't have too much room for it. So you guys could take it in if you want. We have Starlight Force anime card, Misdirection Wing. We got Pendulum Illusion and Scale Up. And then finally the 2 fusions that you guys could tech in if you want to take in some Warriors or Beast in there. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, all these cards are going to be in the description below. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys thought of this deck. Do you like it? Do you like the concept that I did with it? Do you not? By the way, you guys can build this however you want. Don't worry about, oh, I built it this way, you should have added this card or whatever. Like I said, you could just add whatever you want. That's it. Like, you could tech it. This is my build. This is how I wanted to build it. This is how I felt comfortable building it. And I really like this deck. I actually haven't even tried it yet. I really want to try it because it seems like a lot of fun. But yeah, so just build it however you like. Tech in whatever you want to tech in. You don't have to go by my rules and restrictions. Those are just my personal feelings and what I want to do. In the future, I might want to do another Zark deck that has the combination of all 4 U-boys in there, like all the 4 different archetypes. But I'm not going to do that anytime soon. Don't expect that's next video, because it's not. I'm just saying one day I might try that out and see what happens. But yeah, God bless you guys. Thank you guys for everything. Have fun. See you guys in the next video. Gotcha.